Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another Guild Wars 2 video. Did I just have an aneurysm? I think I did. I'm also a little sick. Welcome to another Guild Wars 2 build video. Today I wanted to bring you some Mesmer, and specifically a Chronomancer. I'm saying this like it's new and fascinating, but I always forget that you guys just read the title and already know what the hell I'm talking about. So you probably read by the title. It is a healing Chronomancer build. No, this isn't a build focused on boon upkeep, though it has access to powerful boons. It's pretty much focused around healing people. Yes, as a Mesmer. And someone such as myself, I've thought that Mesmer doesn't really have a specialization that really focuses on healing, but I've tried to make Chronomancer work, and I gotta say, with recent trait changes and the overall playstyle of the Chronomancer, I don't think Mesmer's too bad if you want to go for a straight up pure healing build. So this is what I tried to amalgamate, and EBB, I hope you guys like it. So let's start off. I always forget that we have to do that. Let's start off real quickly by going over my armor, then into the traits, and then my utility and some gameplay. I will say right off the bat that this build specifically is one that is purely like down the middle of everything. It's not purely damage, it's not purely healing, it's not purely condition damage. It is what I would consider to be almost a pure hybrid. It does everything, but nothing superbly well, just does things well. And I think that it's fun to have an open world. So with the gear, I am taking a mixture of Seraphs, Plague Doctors, and I believe my chest piece is Harriers, because I wanted a little bit more healing power and concentration. And even power gets converted to healing power with a certain trait, which I will go over later on. But the rune I'm using is Rune of the Monk. The Rune of the Monk was a pain to get, but I got it. I got it. You gotta just do a couple paths of Ascalon Catacombs. I know, rest in peace dungeons, but it helps. The 6th tier ability is pretty nice. Moving on to my weapons, I'm taking Scepter and Torch and the Staff. My Scepter is condition damage and power, and my Torch is Marshals, which is the healing power main stat with minor condition damage and precision. And I have no idea what the stat name is for this, but it's the condition damage, toughness, and precision. I did want to have a bit more of a condition damage slant. I wanted a little bit more condition damage. So this is what I went with. For my back items, this is Marshals. I'm using healing power, toughness, and condition damage. This is a Plague Doctors, healing signet, Marshals, and then one that I got from a Laurel merchant, healing power, toughness, and condition damage. I am looking to increase my boon duration maybe a little bit more if I can. Maybe I'll swap out some gear, but for now, I've been pretty satisfied with the build and the gear that I'm running so far. So let's move on over to the specializations. My Asura just crossed her eyes. She's having a wonderful time. Let's start off right with Chaos. I really enjoy Chaos line. It's a mixture of some defensive condition damage. I would say Chaos is a bit more defensive, but I'm taking Illusionary Defense, gain stacking damage reduction whenever you summon Illusion. This doesn't last super long, it lasts for 5 seconds, so make sure you are constantly summoning illusions. Sometimes I run Descent into Madness. There's currently an alarm siren going off in the background. Welcome to LA. Descent into Madness, which causes a Chaos Storm whenever you use a healing skill. And I gotta say, I should be using this more often because I use Well of Eternity, my healing skill, very frequently, almost off cooldown. The second trait I'm taking for Chaos is Chaotic Transference, gain condition damage based on your toughness, which I guess is helping because I do have toughness, and gain expertise based on your concentration. I don't have a lot of expertise to begin with, so it helps out a little bit. It's 2%. It's nothing, but it makes me feel like I'm doing something. I want to mention this minor chaotic persistence because it's just something to keep in the back of your mind when playing this build. Outgoing boon and condition duration increase for every boon on you. And with this build, you'll have Chaos Storm and you'll have your wells, which apply boons. You'll be comboing in fields, and in a team scenario, you'll be getting boons. So this will help. And finally, I'm taking Bountiful Disillusionment to gain stability and more boons. This does not, these boons are not applied to allies. If these boons were applied to allies, it'd be kind of cool. Prismatic Understanding. This is the stealth one. I've always found this to be a very strange trait. Chaotic Interruptions, a bit more fun. These two traits I very rarely use, I find. Anywho, let's go over to Inspiration. Power Cleanse. This one's good to, once again, keep in the back of your mind, just for condition clearing if you need it in PvE. I'm taking Sympathetic Visage because it's nice if you have any conditions on you. Not many enemies in PvE apply conditions, but it's just a safety net to have. I should be using Medic's Feedback more, but then again, I don't really come across a lot of dead people in PvE. If I was in World versus World, hell yeah, I should be using that. Restorative Mantras. I don't really use mantras, which I don't know if I should. I just really like the wells, and I'll get into why I chose the wells later on. Inspiring Distortion is also a really nice minor trait to be conscious of. Whenever you use Distortion, you will spread Aegis. So sometimes what I like to do is pop into Continuum Split, which allows you to cast abilities and then you'll exit Continuum Split, and like by the time you cast a Continuum Split, you'll go back to that timeline and you'll have all your cooldowns back. So you can double cast Distortion basically. It's nice. I take Restorative Illusions just to heal myself more, because it can. Healing Prism is on a 10-second cooldown, which this is also important because gain healing power based on a portion of your power, which is why I also built a little bit into power. The heal others whenever you heal yourself is on a 10-second cooldown. It's not great, but it's there. I would love it if it was like an 8-second cooldown or a 5-second cooldown. And finally, I'm taking Illusionary Inspiration, which was a trait that was changed a couple patches back. And I at first was like, this trait doesn't seem very useful. But I've been playing with it a bit more, and I think it's pretty strong. I would like it to be buffed up a little bit. Maybe like give it a 20% more healing. Maybe not even 20%, like 10%, and then like increase the radius to 360. And if it affected 10 targets, oh my gosh, in rating, that'd be so... I feel like they just need to scrap this 5-target stuff when it's not necessary. I feel like 10 targets is the way to go for Grandmaster traits. You did it with Blurred Inscriptions. But I'm taking Illusionary Inspiration for that pure healing line. And last but not least, I'm taking Chronomancer. And the first I'm taking is All's Well That Ends Well. Once again, for that pure healing line, because healing is very fundamental in this build that I'm going for and what I was hoping to accomplish. And I think I have. Flow of Time is just nice. Whenever you shatter, you gain Alacrity. Secondly, for my master that I'm taking Illusionary Reversion. Shatter skills generate a clone if you have enough clones present. So if you shatter 3 clones, you'll gain an additional 1 for free. And this is very useful in conjunction with Illusionary Inspiration. With the weapons I'm taking, with the trait choices I'm taking, and with a certain utility skill that I'm taking, you have a lot of uptime on clones. You very rarely will have 0 clones. And if you do, just swap into Scepter and just auto attack for 5 seconds and you'll get back to like 3. Finally, I'm taking Seize the Moment. Gain quickness for each clone you shatter. This is 2 seconds of quickness due to my boon duration increases. Right off the bat, it's like 1 3/4 of a second, but just that little extra, it boosted me up to 2 seconds, so I'll get a total of 6 seconds of quickness. If I had even more concentration, I could get it up to around 3 seconds, which would be very nice. So those are my specialization choices that I'm taking. I'm going to put these over to the side. Why did my Sarah stop talking? Talk, damn you. Also, I forgot to... My brain is all over the place. Sickness is not fun. Anyway, let me go into my weapons. So I'm going to start off with Scepter. Scepter is that was showing Winds of Chaos. Scepter is a great weapon for generating clones, and with Illusionary Inspiration, it's very useful. Illusionary counter was recently buffed to the point where, they changed where if you block an attack, you summon 2 clones. If you don't block an attack and use the counter spell, you'll still summon 1 clone. So it's still a nice clone regeneration. Confusing Images is just fantastic damage and confusion. And Phantasmal Mage is great for dazing and getting some nice burns. Winds of Chaos, going over to the staff. The staff is what I typically camp in to gain benefits for Rune of the Monk. You gain stacks of increased healing effectiveness whenever you apply boons to allies. And you have a pretty easy chance or easy accessibility to boons when using the staff, especially with Chaos Storm, and just having a bunch of clones that have a staff will bounce a lot of boons around. So it's a lot of fun. Phase Retreat is on a very low cooldown. If I took Chaotic Dampening, that even reduces my cooldowns even more. But I do like Chaotic Transference for the stat increases. And I also think that subconsciously that was one reason why I wanted this build, or tried this build, is because Chaotic Transference was changed a couple patches back, and I was like, why did they change that to these specific stat augmentations? But it's been fun. So those are my weapons. You guys know the Shatters. Mind Rack is damage. Cry, Frustration, Confusion. Diversion is the stun, or the daze. And Distortion is being immune to damaging effects. And additionally, with all the traits, you gain Alacrity and Quickness, and unique boons per Shatter. Continuum Split, actually, you gain Resistance, which I totally forgot. I totally missed that. I was like, whoa, there's resistance. Going over to my utility skills, let me start off with Well of Eternity. I am taking 3 wells because of All's Well That Ends Well. And Well of Eternity is only on a 30-second cooldown. It's pretty low, and with high access to Alacrity, it cuts it down even more. Well of Eternity, really, really strong heal. It's a light field, so people can combo in it. You remove conditions, plus the power cleanse. It's just overall a really nice heal. The only downside is that you have to make sure that you position it in strategic places and that players will stay in it. But sometimes that doesn't work. Next up, I am taking Signet of Illusions. This is the specific utility that helps me even further in my pursuit of having a constant 3 clones at all times. You create a clone every few seconds, and this is every 10 seconds you create a clone. And if you really want it, or if you really want the active, it will recharge your Mind Rack, Cry, Frustration, Diversion, and Distortion. I often use the active when I go into Continuum Split, because then I know once I come out of Continuum Split, I'll have this skill back up again. Also, for people who are wondering what Continuum Split is, I'll just show you right now. What's the cast time of this? Oh, let's pop. Boom. It worked. Oh, I didn't time it right. That's sad. It didn't pop. That's really depressing, actually. I might cut that. No, I'm not going to cut it. Going over, I'm doing Well of Recall, because this was recently buffed, actually. They trimmed the cooldown to 25 seconds. So you have a lot of Alacrity. This is almost 7 seconds of Alacrity. And if I had more of that Rune of the Monk, increased outgoing healing, you would, pump out more heals. If I had a little bit more boon duration, I can get that to 7 seconds. But it's really nice. Pop this, and then pop some of your Shatters with clones. You'll have a lot of Alacrity for yourself in order to keep pumping out more clones, more heals, and pumping out more Wells of Eternity. Finally, I'm taking Well of Action, which is also at a 25-second cooldown. Whoa, I just realized that they're both 25 seconds. Wow. Cool. So let's just pop them both. Pop, pop. This well applies slow and gives you quickness, which is really nice. And yeah, quickness is wonderful to have. Additionally, with the quickness, I'm taking Time Warp, and it's 3 seconds of quickness and additional slows. And it affects 10 targets. It's on a 180-second cooldown, though, but with Alacrity, you can get that down. One thing I will say with this build is that it's very hard to not take Signet of Inspiration, but I'm not taking Blurred Inscription, so I feel like it's not a necessity. But even still, Signet of Inspiration is pretty nice. It was recently nerfed a little bit because it only extends the duration by 3 seconds instead of 5. I still feel like it was fine with the 5 seconds. But they did cut the cooldown to 20 seconds, which was also really convenient. Signet of Illusions has a 60-second cooldown? Damn. I mean, I guess. What would make it even better is if this recharge continuum split. But that would be a whole nother box of shenanigans and difficulty to balance. Because then I could see Signet of Illusions being meta. And Signet of Illusions is already really strong in certain game modes, especially PvP. So everyone, I think I shall head over to some gameplay right now. And yeah, let's just test out some gameplay with some heals and just normal open world shenanigans. See y'all over on the gameplay section. Welcome everyone to the long-awaited gameplay section. It's not that dramatic. I'm off my rocker today. Anyway, everyone, I wanted to do it in the aerodrome because there is a pulsing damage field, and I particularly wanted to showcase the healing potential. Now this is on medium damage pulses, not on crazy high, though I think I could have done it on high damage ticks, because I got really comfortable healing on a normal basis. Just with the basic regen, I was healing for a lot. But my overall method of healing is summoning as many illusions, clones, and phantasms that I can, shattering them with Mind Rack and Cry of Frustration, and rinsing and repeating. And also using my wells somewhat strategically. Like if I realize my alacrity is going low, I'll pop my alacrity well. If my quickness is kind of running out, pop my quickness well. If not, you can pretty much keep using them off cooldown. And I gotta say, I kept my alacrity and my quickness up pretty well, I would say, in this scenario. Sometimes it would drop off, but this build isn't meant to keep it up 100% of the time. It's just supposed to be quality of life. Maybe 50% of the time it's up. Time Warp was also very useful, and Well of Eternity was healing for a lot when you're in an emergency situation. Also, with my shattering, just shattering heals me personally quite a lot. So the healing is nothing to scoff at. As you can see, you get some 600s, get some 2000s. And then if we go over to like an open world scenario where I'm just doing bounties and such, it can be chaotic when there are too many people on screen. But I would say in a raiding scenario, you might be able to concentrate a little bit more. Even in a fractal scenario, you could probably concentrate much more. The damage isn't supposed to be the main factor. The damage is supposed to be an underlying niche where if you need to solo something, you'll be able to solo it. You won't be able to kill it in 2 seconds, but you're A, gonna stay alive, and B, you're gonna kill it in a timely manner. If you know how to do your damage rotation and such. For damage, you mostly go into Scepter Torch, I will say. That's what I've personally found, because then you can just Mind Rack for days, and with the alacrity, it comes off cooldown real quick. And it's just overall a really fun time. So thank you everyone for watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do whatever you want. Subscribe if you want. Leave a comment if you want. This is just another open world fun hybrid build that I wanted to test out for Mesmer. And I haven't played Mesmer in a while, so it was a lot of fun to dip my toe back in. Speaking of my toe, I need to cut my nails. TMI. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone! Down below, I have links to all things Guild Wars 2 for free-to-play players and expansion players alike. So if you or a loved one are interested in playing Guild Wars 2, check the links down below and begin your adventure in Tyria today. See you in game!